Hello guys, this is Sandra here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's lovely to have you here. So today we're gonna do the super exciting eyeshadow palette tag, and I decided to do it and join everyone else doing it because, you know, it has everything in there I love. Well, a few things that I love, not everything. But I love TikTok and I love eyeshadow palettes, so I decided to jump on the bandwagon. And this one is slightly different from the original TikTok video. Samantha March and I believe her friend decided to turn this into a YouTube tag. So I'm gonna link her video below. But I just, yeah, like everyone else, I've been slightly obsessed with TikTok lately. And even though I might not be the target generation, I decided to start doing videos there because they're just really fun. So if you want to check me out there, you're gonna find my name somewhere on the screen probably, I don't know where. But it's the same username as everywhere else. It's Szannyside, so it's easy to find me if you, I don't know, want to check out my mediocre videos and, you know, me trying to be cool and down with the kids. But also, if you've seen my makeup inventory, you will know that eyeshadow is my vice and I have quite a few palettes, so I thought this is a perfect way to talk about them. And also, in what other video can I rock purple eyes and purple brows? I don't know. I think this is the one. So without further blabbering, let's hop into the video. So if you don't know basically how it works on TikTok and in the YouTube tag as well, that there's a prompt and then you show the corresponding eyeshadow palette. And I decided to do the YouTube video as well, apart from this being really fun, is because I can talk about each product a bit more. And also I can show you a bit more variety than what I might be able to show on TikTok. But some of the prompts are slightly different anyway. So the first one is show your newest palette. And my newest palettes are these two e.l.f. bite-size palettes. One of them is the Berry Bad and also Hot Jalapeño. So these are the two newest ones. They are beautiful. I did a look with these in my first impressions and I'm not sure if both will be up. I think only one of them where I have my use them shadows video. Oh my god, why can't I think? I think one of them, I'm not too sure, will be up and the other one is coming this Friday if you want to see some looks with these. But I'm super impressed with these for £3. I mean, they are amazing. The quality is really good as well and I cannot fault these really. They are amazing. Show your oldest palette. So my oldest palette is the one that's currently in my Pando's palettes as well. And it's the Urban Decay Naked Basics. I mean, if you look at it, it's pretty beaten up. It's really old and I mean, you know, it's seen a lot of love. So I don't think I have to say more about this. I love this and I think they stopped making these because every time now I look on their website they only have the Naked Basics 2, which is a slightly more, I think, cool tone version of this. And then they have the Ultimate Basics, which is the bigger palette, but I never see them talking about these anymore. I don't see it on our website. So I don't know if this got discontinued along with the Naked one. Why cannot talk? I don't know. I don't know. Does anyone know? But I love this and yeah, I have a lot of memories with this. It's super old, but it still does the job perfectly. Also, if I have videos with any of these palettes, I'm going to link them in the description box. So if you want to hear more in depth about any of these, they will be down there. So the next prompt is your most expensive palette. And I think this is my most expensive one and I didn't pay for it. I got it free at an event of theirs, thank goodness. But it's the Tom Ford Eye and Cheek Compact from 2015, so it's getting quite old. And this was last year's Pen That palette as well, where I didn't do too well, but it was not for a whole year anyway. So this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful palette. Those two are more for the cheeks and then those three are for the eyes, but I used all of them on the eyes as well, really. It's beautiful and white, it looks luxurious, and I know for most people it's the huge Natasha Denona palettes. I don't have those. So I'm pretty sure this is my most expensive and I think it retails around £80–90, or where it used to when it was out. It was limited edition and I'm pretty sure this is my most expensive one. On the other end, your most affordable one, if it's not the two e.l.f. bite-sized shadows, then it's gonna be this one, and I think I didn't pay as much for these anyway because I think these are £3. And when I bought this, I'm pretty sure this was on discount and I bought it for £2 and something, but I think originally it's around £5, so it's still quite inexpensive, but I'm pretty sure I bought it for like £2.60, £2.70 or something like that. And it's my other Pandos palettes, and this is the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air palette. It's beautiful. Now unfortunately this is not cruelty free anymore, whoopsie. But the shades in there are different? No, beautiful. The shades in there are beautiful, they work amazingly, and yeah, it's perfect quality. It's just said that it's not cruelty free anymore, but if it's not the e.l.f. ones, then this is my most affordable palette. And again, I think I spent less on this, and to be fair, it works just as well as some of my most expensive palettes, so I have nothing against this little palette at all. Show your everyday palette. Now again, for these, usually I use these palettes just because these are my Pandos palettes, but if I don't use them and I want a quick makeup, I usually reach for this one or something like this, and this is the Becca Ombre Rouge eyeshadow palette. And my go-to shadows are usually quite warm-toned, and this is just a beautiful warm-toned neutral palette. So I would say this is one of my go-tos if I just want something that I know it works, I want it to work quickly, and for some reason I don't reach for my Pandos palettes, then this is the one I go for. But most of the time, to be fair, I would use my ones that I'm penning. But again, I don't want to keep showing you the same palette over and over again, and as you can see, this palette has seen quite a lot of love as well. The next prompt is your most colourful palette, and for this I have two because I couldn't decide. So one of them could be the Huda Beauty Electric Obsessions, and if you open this up, every single shade in here is colourful, and again, it's so well loved. But I also thought about this one when I've seen it, and also in this setup I only talk about eyeshadow palettes that are already put together and come as a set eyeshadow palette rather than the ones I put together for myself, because I have other ones that could fit these categories. But another one that could fit that is this one, which is the Morphe 35B. I mean, again, this seen a lot of love, but also it's super colourful, but then I thought this one has a few more natural shades here and at the end, so that's why I wanted to include both. They are both super colourful and super well loved. In the TikTok video there was a prompt that said a palette you haven't touched yet, and I don't have one. I touch all my eyeshadows as soon as they come in. I want to play with them, so that's not a category for me. It does not exist. Show your smallest palette is the next prompt, and again, it could be the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. That's the whole point of them. They are tiny. But if it's not these ones, then the Natasha Denona Mini Star palette is not far behind. If you can see, it's almost the same size, just a little bit bigger, and obviously the price tag is a lot bigger. But to be fair, based on this, I am super impressed with the quality of these shadows. So I would like to try more Natasha Denona, but I'm not sure I can justify the price, although the Metropolis, one of those two, I would love to try. But till then, you know, I'm just gonna be happy with this. And my camera, I don't know if it wants to focus. There we go. It's a beautiful eyeshadow palette. I love this. I'm so happy I picked it up, and you know, 25 euros is what I paid for this. I bought this when we were on a trip in France. 25 euros is a lot better of a price for it than, let's say, £120 for the big palette. And some people say that the formula is not the same. Now obviously I don't know about that, but I love this. It's just, I have no words clearly. They blend so nicely. They are amazing quality shadows, and even though it's a plastic packaging, it feels like really luxurious plastic, if it makes sense. I don't know if it does, but I mean, listen to the click. Isn't that satisfying? But yeah, if it's not the e.l.f. bite-size palettes, then it's the Natasha Denona one. It feels like those e.l.f. palettes fit a lot of categories, but yeah, that's why I wanted to do this video, so I can show you different options as well. Your biggest palette. Now for this one, as for most of these categories, for some reason I have two. And when it comes to the biggest size palette, it's again my Morphe 35B. And I've seen a lot of people showing Morphe palettes because, I mean, look at it next to my head. It's giant, but I also thought of this palette because while it's not large, it's super thick. And this is the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette. And while the colors in here are beautiful, I don't reach for it too often just because I find that the shadows are not the best quality. But they look really nice and colourful, and I have a pen in it, so, you know, at least I can say I used it. But yeah, the shadows, the matte shadows are fine, some of the shimmers are fine, the glitter falls all over the place, and it's super chunky. So while size-wise it's not even near to the Morphe one, the Morphe one at least is really slick and slim, even though I don't think I would travel with this because if I want colors I have my Huda Electric Obsessions. But look how thick that is. So depends how you look at big. If you think chunky, it's this one. If you think huge in size, then it's my Morphe one. But they're, you know, both worth a mention in this category. Now the next one says, show your palette with the best memory. And I have different memories attached to different palettes. So I could have mentioned my Naked Basics because this was the first high-end palette that I ever bought to myself. And I remember I bought it on a flight home because, I don't know, I thought, oh wow, the discount, it was not that big. But you know, that was the first one I ever splurged out on. Or I could talk about the Tom Ford one because the day I got it at that conference was quite special, but also I took this home with me a lot of the times and I did makeup on my mum or on my sister because they like to ask me to do little makeovers on them, and we always have much fun with that, so I could have mentioned that one. But because I already talked about those palettes, I decided to mention this one. And this one is from Fenty Beauty, and this is the Moroccan Spice palette. The inside of it is beautiful. I mean, look at all those shades. The formula works amazingly as well. I love this palette. And I didn't have this for so long. I got it for Christmas, and the reason I wanted to mention this is because I got this from my boyfriend for Christmas. And one, I don't think he bought me makeup before. Two, I had a few makeup items on my Christmas list, but this was not one of them. But just before Christmas I was thinking a lot about, do I want to buy it, do I not, do I want to spend on it, do I not? And because Christmas is a time when you spend a lot in general, I decided to be good and not to buy it for myself. And he bought it for me, and he told me the story afterwards. He has so much trouble, he ordered it, the order got lost, and I had to go to all these boot stores that didn't have it, and then he found one at the end. So you know, it's just, I love it how he actually listens and then, you know, buys me something that I truly love even if it's not on my list, because people usually don't want to buy makeup for me because it's really unpredictable whether I buy it or not, or I will love it or not. So, you know, it's the little things, and that's my story with this palette. I have different stories attached to different makeup items, and eyeshadow palettes are no different. Then the next category is show a palette worth the hype. And for that I have the Jeffree Star Mini Breaker palette. And basically whenever Jeffree Star releases a palette, there's a huge hype around it, everyone talks about it. I mean, he just released a cremated palette. It's not even out yet, but people are already talking about it, the controversy and everything. And this is my only Jeffree Star palette, so I can't really talk, you know, about all of them. But the quality on this one is amazing, so based on this I would happily purchase more Jeffree Star palettes, and most of them are on my wish list, but you know, they're quite pricey. But this is beautiful. I got so much use out of it, and you only need the smallest tap in there with your brush. They are super pigmented. My camera does really not want to focus, but I'm sure you can still see the beauty this palette is. There we go. It's amazing. I got so many beautiful looks out of this already, and I truly do enjoy it. And I could have used this today, but, well, I didn't. Today on my eyes, what have I used? I used the Morphe 35B, I used the NYX Bright Edit, that's like a litter palette, and I used the Huda Beauty Electric Obsessions as well, and a cream purple shadow from 3ENA, I think is how you pronounce the brand, I don't know. But those are what I used for this purple, but I could have used this one as well. That was a really long-winded explanation of my eyeshadow look. Show a palette then that's not worth the hype. Now, for this one, I don't have the palette itself anymore. But for me, it's the Urban Decay Naked 2. I originally wanted to buy the Naked 1, but when I went shopping, they didn't have that. So I thought, you know what, the Naked 2 is fairly close, and why not buy that one, because I didn't want to wait. So I bought that one. And I don't have the palette anymore. I deposited most of the shadows, and the ones that I didn't like, I just threw away, as you do. So these are the only shades that I have left, and these are ones that I use, and you can see they are well loved. And some of these work amazingly, while others not so much. I don't know why, I'm just not... I don't know why, because again, this one I love. I have the Naked Cherry palette. I love that one too, even though I don't reach for it too often, but I think it's just because I have many colors like what's in there. And I love that one too. The Naked 2, for some reason, as you can see, I was not super attached to it, even though it's a cult classic. I don't know why, it just never fully impressed me. And I know it's super hyped up, or it used to be, but for me, it was a bit like, meh, you know. The next one is show your favorite palette from a favorite brand. And I don't think I have like one favorite brand. I have quite a few brands that I love, and there are different products from different brands, but Charlotte Tilbury is a brand that I don't think I really tried anything from that I don't love. So I went with one of their palettes, and this is, to be fair, the only Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette that I have. And this is the Pillowtalk eyeshadow palette, so this is fairly new. This is the original one, not the pop. This is something that I can always reach for if I want something quick and easy, and it's such a pretty palette. But again, I use other eyeshadow palettes from her, but this is the only one I own. And I just, yeah, it's dreamy. Even the packaging, the product, it's all dreamy. And is it expensive? Yes. Do I think it's worth it though, if you're gonna use it and you know you love the formula? Yes. Otherwise, I'm sure, I mean, I have these colors apart from the shimmer in my backup palette as well, but I could probably use these two or these two and get really similar effects, but I still love this, and Charlotte Tilbury is one of my favorite brands. I mean, I have many. I love Becca, I love Urban Decay, I love Too Faced, so, you know, I have many favorite brands. If it comes to the drugstore, I would say, what is my favorite drugstore brand? NYX, Revolution, Elf, although I feel like I'm just recently starting to rediscover the drugstore, because for a while I went into really high-end makeup, because I find that when you go first cruelty-free, those products are easier to find, or at least, I don't know, it was just me. I have many favorite brands, so this was hard to narrow it down, but I got there. And then the last prompt is show your most used palette, and you've already seen it. For this I could not find the other one. It's this one. Again, talked about this a lot already, the Urban Decay Naked Basics. I mean, I don't think a palette gets more used than that. Does it? I don't think so. But I already talked a lot more than I should have, so I'm gonna stop here now. I hope you have a lovely day, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean so much to me. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I have the occasional Saturday videos as well. But for now I'm gonna go. Again, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye!